Edward Weinstein is our guest, WCTC legal analyst specializing in family law. Tell us about your legal practice and what your specialties are.
Okay, thank you. We primarily are a family law firm, presently for potentially about to become 5 attorneys. Very fortunate in what's obviously a tough economy that we're a growing practice. I'd say about 99% devoted to matrimonial law.
Custody, matrimony, you do all that stuff, alimony, you involved in all that stuff?
Oh, it's all falls within that, let's say domain of family law. Here's another way to break it down. There are different docket numbers. FM is a divorce docket number.
Okay.
FD typically are 2 parents, never married, have a child, they separate, and now we have to work things out. Custody, parenting time, child support, medical insurance, college. Those are really hopefully the big 5.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's more egregious issues with children. And I'm proud to say that's my favorite part of the job is protecting children to the best of our ability. That I'm very proud of. And then there's FV docket numbers, and those are the domestic violence cases. Okay. And those are always a riot.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Not in a good way, a riot, right?
Right, but my colleagues and I, we discuss it. It's only the iffy cases that get tried. If he or she really did something, she took a baseball bat to his car windshield, he punched a hole in the wall, those cases settle. The lawyers work things out.
Okay.
Typically, and everybody's protected, and you at least put a Band-Aid on the situation.
Yeah.
But it's typically a harassment case that gets tried.
Okay.
Because it's a very fine line between harassment under the criminal code versus divorce bickering. It's pretty much a term of art.
Now, you said about domestic violence. It can be property, cars, wall. It doesn't have to be like an assault on another person.
Excellent question. Something I discuss all the time. And I'm very disappointed to find out how many people, and let's be candid, many of the victims are women, and they think that unless there is a physical assault, well, what can I do? And that's not the case at all. An assault obviously is a violation of the Domestic Violence Act. But if you destroy property in the course of a domestic dispute, you've got a good case if you're representing the victim in such a scenario. And then and that's pretty much falls under criminal mischief. I've had stalking cases that falls under the act. Terroristic threats, which is, kind of harassment on steroids. You're threatening to kill.
Right.
As opposed to just, I'm going to do this and that if you leave me.
It's like over-the-top kind of stuff,
Exactly. There's way too much smack talk between divorcing people, and if the folks out there in Radio Land can picture my hand, which is up towards the ceiling.
It's up.
A relationship starts here. Way up here. But when things fall apart, it's a long fall down. And hence my comment about folks who are going through a tough time.
I'm sure.
But I can tell you, just say this week has been a riot. Why? Because we just had a holiday weekend. So you have one classification of people who are in the middle of getting separated.
Okay.
Or in the middle of their divorce. And yes, I'm being sarcastic or facetious, but it's not as fun as it sounds to spend the whole weekend, an extra weekend, with someone you're divorcing or separating from. And I have many people clients or potential clients who are surprised when I tell them that, especially in this economy, most folks are residing together while the divorce process is going down. And some folks are taken back by that. They think, well, I'm signing up for the divorce, so let's get them out of here. And I have to explain, it doesn't work that way. Actually, who leaves the house, or maybe you're both leaving the house, and again, not to be redundant, but the economy's dictating, terms as far as people getting divorced.
That's
and real
interesting.
estate and so forth. But yeah, so it's been a wild week.
I'm sure. Yeah, just by finding out that alone, it sounds like you've been rather busy. So
and I noticed something else. On the 4th of July, I was on vacation up at Martha's Vineyard, and I didn't receive any emails from anybody for days and days. I noticed on the 4th of July, 3 different clients send me emails upset about X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Now, they were handled by my other attorneys while I was away, but I thought it was interesting, and when I got back to Jersey and back to my office, my prediction was correct. All 3 people who emailed me, their children were with the other spouse. Lots of people don't like to share, and you really don't like to share your kid on a holiday.
Oh, yeah.
So those folks are sitting there and they're thinking about it, and where's that Weinstein?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Let me email my lawyer. Yeah, I'm going to tell him about this. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
And everybody, again, got taken care of, but you get my point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is the first judge I ever appeared in front of put it the best. And she had sat in the criminal part and the family part in Superior Court in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And she said in criminal court, you see bad people at their best. And in family court, you see good people at their worst.
That's interesting.
That's 1995.
All the
she
sense
said
in the
that to
world.
me. It really, I still use it, obviously. Never forgot it.
Wow.
16 years later, she was right on.